Hi there, and welcome to another episode of the Astartes Anonymous podcast, where today we are being joined by a longtime friend of ours, Nick Gikas. It is Gikas. Gikas?
My name is Nick Gikas, and I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Gikas, not geek ass, Gikas.
I get that a lot, but it fits, honestly, my geeky ass.
I've been calling, just for the audience's context, I've been calling him Gikas for about 2 years now. So
I've gotten Gikas, Gikas, even a Gikas once. That was surprising.
Gikas. And Nick here goes by Nick Gikas VO on YouTube. You'll recognize Nick from his work on the wonderful ongoing Big Golden Buddy series, one of the few things carrying the torch left by TTS. Not only that, but Nick has been a huge help in some of our own content. You can hear his wonderful voice acting in various recent videos on our channel, as well, such as our Deathwatch and Rabute Gilliman videos. And he is joining us today for a topic of his own choosing. So strap yourselves in as we rank each of the Baneblades. I'm your host, Tom, and these are my co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Zarek. I'm the tech priest with tech issues, and I have once erroneously been called Zeke. That one will always baffle me.
Zeke, even though there's two like R's?
Yeah. They apparently they had what's the thing where you can't read very well?
Dyslexia?
Yes, that's the one. My brain. Yeah, apparently I had dyslexia. It must have been really, really bad.
I was telling Tom earlier my little pet peeve, because I go by Greekus that's like my handle when I play video games and such, because Geekus, I'm also Greek, so I put them together. Greekas. All the time I get called Grekus. There are two E's. I don't understand how people screw that up. Well, I think a lot more people in the world are more people are dyslexic than you think.
I don't think they're dyslexic. I think they're just stupid.
Yeah, and as for being a voice actor, I guess I can't speak either. My God.
Hello, I'm Croc. I'm an idiot that likes big robots. I'll bring you down to my level and lose even with experience.
It's quite funny because this is the third time we've had Croc on, but the first time that Croc and I have been on together, you will find out, wonderful audience, that Croc and I have a tumultuous relationship, and I, in fact, think that he is a piece of shit.
He says really mean things about me. You guys should all leave nasty comments about him.
I am their marriage counselor. I'm helping them through this tough time.
No, Croc's a minor. You can't say that.
Ooh! Well, he's a minor. Croc's a minor.
Yeah,
and yet you're married to him. Very curious, Tom. Would you like to tell us more about that?
Well, you see, in my culture, no.
I'd rather not. the last episode of Astartes Anonymous.
I assure you, everyone, Croc is not actually a miner. He is a miner in the sense that he is in the Astartes Anonymous mines, mining for precious virality every day. Pickaxe in hand, sweat in tow. He is being abused.
He's like 68.
These clips ain't gonna make themselves, guys. Come on.
He's an old man.
He is an old man. He's I'm not gonna like dox Croc or anything, but like No, actually, I can't finish that sentence. I was about to dox Croc.
All that matters is that the four people here, I'm the youngest, and yet I'm not one of the ones who did know who Blade was. Played by Wesley Snipes, just to clarify.
Look, I don't watch many films, let alone action films.
It is a seminal classic. It is by far my favorite Marvel film. I care not for the MCU very much, but for the classic Blade, oh my God, amazing film.
Yeah. So Zarek is living under a rock.
Several.
As per.
Croc is role playing as, I don't know, Patrick Starr as well, I guess. And Nick likes Wesley Snipes.
Love me some Wesley.
However, ladies and gentlemen, we have some models of the week to get through before we get to our main, very silly topic this evening. So let's have a look. Who should we start with? Let's start with... I haven't actually looked at what you guys have suggested, except for one of yours. I can't remember which one it was. So let's have a look at Zarek's first. So Zarek, you have picked a model by a new user to the Discord called What Hits You? And this is... Zarek, what the hell is this?
This is a Firesight marksman team. And I gotta say, I did not appreciate the absolute disregard that people have for the Firesight marksman team. Haven't you ever seen your Tau opponent use drone snipers? Is this not an iconic unit?
Where you're not going to see them because they are well hidden snipers.
Well, you should hope. But I love this model. It is a pet favorite. A friend of mine who played Tau, literally, it was the only thing he wanted to field was just loads of these guys. And I got to appreciate anyone who takes some creativity to the subject in order to avoid that horrible Finecast model.
Yeah. I don't think the Finecast model is that horrible. I mean, it's horrible because it's Finecast. I don't think the model's that bad. No, that's a wonderful job. The bushes around it are very convincing. The little bit of netting is very nice. It's almost reminiscent of another fella. In a roundabout way, it's reminiscent of another fellow we've highlighted on the podcast before called Ed, who we've highlighted about 4 times now for his Black Templars. And his Black Templars are very special because he uses very unique materials, like fibrous materials, to make them come to life. And this is very reminiscent of that in a sense that what Hit You has used here is what looks like an actual string netting to go over the drone.
I will say, anyone that puts actual camo netting on a Warhammer model, especially bonus points if it's guard tanks. Oh man!
Oh yes! Oh yeah!
That's the stuff right there. That's what it's all about.
I will. I mean, it is a very, very cool model, and again, camo netting is just mwah, when applied to little models. I just think it's funny the juxtaposition of hidden camouflage sniper with orange accents, orange shoot my ass accents, but still. That being said, it is cool as hell. I love this model.
Yeah, sweet. Right, shall we move on to our next model of the week? So the next one was selected by Croc, and Croc has chosen a model by a patron of ours who I think we've actually shown off once or twice before, called Jakul55. And Jakul here has made what is this? A very, very cool Primaris Raven Guard character with what looks to be a versatile terrain brand nameplate on the front of this miniature.
Yeah, this guy's sick. There's no two ways about it. Yeah. First off, Raven Guard. I mean, underappreciated. Yeah. Second off, the paint is just oh man.
I love the face mask. It's so cool.
I am a sucker for 2 things in this world. The first one is big robots, and the second one is just nice OSL.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's so nice.
Well, it's a model. This is the crazy thing about this model is that it feels like it's got a narrative. It feels like something's happened here. He's crouched down on the floor, daggers in hand, sniper on back. This lovely hooded beaky. And as anyone who's watching the Twist of Fate Deathwatch series knows that I'm a big fan of the hooded beaky. And, we've got the little servitor on the ground with the servo skull with the little light coming up. Everyone, there's even details on that. If you twist the model around to take a look at it, you can see the little detail on the screen.
Yeah,
very wonderful job.
It's like a mini diorama.
Yeah,
there's a lot to glean from it. It's great.
I think one of the things that I think is really underappreciated by a lot of people when it comes to painting models is how much a base does for the model. Like a lot of people think, oh, just put some dirt on it. When you put a cool little thing on the base, maybe a guy, like a dead guy who's dead on the floor, it's sick. It's so cool. I love it.
Mm-hmm. This conversion is all about the little details as well. Like the raven skull on that badge where the cloak is affixed is so well detailed because you can see the point where the skull transitions to the black of a crow's beak. And it's such a tiny little detail, but it's so well done. It's executed perfectly.
I think another little thing about this that's very impressive that no one's mentioned yet is the fine detail to create the leather hood and cape. The little weathering done into the leather or the cloth or whatever material that's meant to be really brings it to life, really gives it a texture, really separates it from the rest of the model, but gels with the overall theme. No, really, really, really wonderful model here, Jakul. In fact, Jakul, if you're watching this, which I know you are, can you actually DM me? I'd like to know where you got that helmet from. I think I know which one it is. I think I do. However, I just want to be sure because I would like to steal that.
I will say, anyone who can sit down and paint little streaks like that should be legally classified as a wizard, in my opinion.
A wizard.
A wizard.
Oh, yeah.
A man capable of magic.
Yep. Or warlock, if you want to be a bit more gender neutral.
You can be is wizard not a gender neutral term?
It should be.
It should be. Yeah.
Be the change you wish to see. Be the change you wish to see.
Sure. And it starts here on the Astartes Anonymous podcast.
And so with that, we will move on to our next model of the week. So this one was chosen by Nick. And Nick, you have picked a model by Recaf Deprived Commissar. Recaf, you and I have spoken at least half a dozen times in the VC, so we are well acquainted with each other. I wasn't expecting a Baneblade to make its way into the Baneblade rankings, but we will take our little victories.
Well, I chose this because, I mean, one, it's on brand for the episode, but two, anyone who knows me knows I love the Guard to death, and I love the big old tonks. Obviously, that's why I was brought on to do an episode on them. That's why I chose to. But I really like this Baneblade. Got a bit of a soft spot for the Krieg, even though, I mean, I'm Cadians, they're my boys, of course, but Kriegers are all they're fun. I love, honestly, it's. I love the little the bright red shoot me explosive barrels on the back. Well, not fuel barrels rather, but as a little accent, I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
great work on the weathering as well. It's a cool model, and I'm just a sucker for Baneblades, really. But yeah, all the blacks and reds of the little accents, the details really complement the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it looks really great. I wish there was a shot that had I wish there was a shot here submitted that had a close up of the little Krieg Commissar poking out the top.
Yeah, no, he's great too.
He's just a cool little guy. He's just chilling.
I'm trying to think. What is that? As I'm speaking from just a model, is that actually a tank commander model?
Zarek?
As far as I know, I do believe there was a specialist upgrade kit specifically for, the Krieg Commissar, but I don't think it was styled as a commander per se. If I recall, I think there was a distinct thing for a Commissar Leman Russ.
Got it.
To be fair, any of the tank commander models for the Guard are like wholly interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
GW doesn't want you to know this. You could just swap them around, man.
And I wanted to just point out on the back, the little altar to the Omnissiah. I like the work that you did on it, because a lot of people, a Baneblade, you could work freaking forever on a Baneblade model, and I've seen people just paint the altar a flat color. So good on you for putting the accents in as well, especially the little priest-looking guy right in the middle holding the sword, and even a little bit of some scripture on the purity seals.
I feel compelled to try and... I'm terribly sorry. I'm going to slow us down for a little bit. But I feel compelled to ID where that Krieger is from. The guy sticking out the top.
No, that was a Forge World upgrade. Just the Krieger, if I recall correctly.
I'm going looking for it. I think he might even predate the current Baneblade model.
I would not be surprised.
No,
yes, he does. I found him. Yep.
Oh, wow.
It's a 4th edition fella.
Oh, wow.
It's a 4th edition Krieg Commissar.
Yeah. He's an old man.
There you go.
That is a veteran.
He actually predates the current run of Baneblades that he's obviously currently sat upon. Those Baneblades didn't actually appear until... the Baneblade variants didn't appear until 2009. When did the original Baneblade come out?
For 4th edition. It was in the Dawn of War, so it would have been in the original 4th.
Yes, yeah. So he still predates them. No, he doesn't. So he would have come out. Oh, it doesn't. I've got like I've got like an overview here. I'm looking at the lexicon to look at dates of releases. The Commissar came out sometime between 2006 and 2008. The Baneblade that he sat upon came out in 2007 during Apocalypse. So he might predate it, he might not, which is wholly useless. Anyways, yeah, out of the rabbit hole. So yeah, excellent job, Recaf Deprived Commissar. That is a wonderful little thing there. Thank you for the little trail you've sent us on. So the next one is... this one was chosen by me. And so this is a miniature by Bufflegum. Now, if you're a long-time viewer of the podcast, you'll know we've shown off Bufflegum several times before for his wonderful, incredible kit bashes. I think even a long time ago when we did an episode just centered around great kit bashes in the community, we may have showed off Bufflegum. And I caught an eye of when he posted this about 2 or 3 weeks ago in the Discord, and I just really loved it. I just thought it was really cool. The idea that he's taken bits of the lion to use. As like, you see his knee plates? Those are just from the lion.
Oh my god.
The torso is Tortuga Bay Miniatures torso. The head piece is from the lion. The sword is Judicious sword. The backpack is Mark III. Yep. Not sure about the cape. No, I've only got this one shot of the model, so not sure about the cape.
Oh,
and then
I've got a bet. I've got a bet though. I bet that is a Vansar the new Vansar kit for Hive Secundus. I bet it's from that.
What, the cape?
Yeah, I've been considering using it for one of mine, and I think it might actually just be the right size for that.
Let's have a look.
I mean, a fair game if you can identify that piece from.
Are you talking
how
about
much?
That one guy with the sniper?
Yes,
I've just looked. I don't think it is.
Hold on, I have it right next to me. I gotta find it.
I'm just looking. I can see why you think it's that one. I'd be willing to bet it's actually just a Space Marine cape of some variety. All right, we're going down the wormhole, ladies and gentlemen. We're down the wormhole again.
I'm staying out of this one.
Oh no, Tom! I think it is. Maybe.
I'm looking at them side by side now. I'm not seeing it. It doesn't have the little indent in the corner.
I think you're right. Damn.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, it's going to be a Space Marine cape of some variety. It'll probably be one built to fit the Mark III. So it's probably like the traitor champion.
Bufflegum, tell us in the comments. I want to know.
Yeah. Bufflegum, please.
Bufflegum, lie to them. Spread disinformation.
Oh, Bufflegum, bring us the truth.
No, you must gatekeep the information. No one else can have it. No one.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Jesus Christ. Okay, right. So, so excellent job, Bufflegum. Really, really loved that. Yeah, do let us know where the cape's from, just so we can know, just so we can find out. Right, ladies.
An excellent job, everyone, on the models.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, shall we move on to our main topic?
We shall.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so here is our tier list. So, once again, I would like to let you all know that this was all Nick's idea. So if this goes entirely tits up for some reason, I'm saying so because Croc is a part of this episode, blame our wonderful guest, Nick.
Listen, all I wanted was just to just bring a tier list here, and we all deliberate on it. I didn't name anything in the list there, by the way. The Heretic Eraser 5000, although those are very, very good rankings. I will say the names are excellent.
Oh, these are the canonical official ranking names for Baneblades. In fact, the Soggy Blade was going to be down in the tier list as an entry, but it's so bad it made it as the whole lower section on its own.
Yeah. According to the Infantry Uplifting Primer, if you mispronounce any of these names, it's 3 batches of flogging followed by a summary execution. So
yes,
absolutely.
And then you have to have a ride on the Soggy Blade, and if you do it again and again and again, you just have to eat the Soggy Biscuit. So, just a heads up, it is unlikely that we're going to go over lots and lots of tabletop criteria for these tanks, although we may touch upon them a little. We're really just here for cool factor and a little bit of lore, and just trying to decide amongst ourselves how we as a group feel about these various Baneblades. Okay, cool. So, first one up is the Baneblade itself. I think, Nick, you would be best capable of giving us our first arguments for the Baneblade.
Yes, of course, but Tom, I must correct you. It is not the Baneblade. It is the Baneblade. let's all get that. Let's all get that squared away right now. Okay. All right. 40 lashes for Tom. Anyway, the Baneblade. Yes,
Nick, I didn't quite hear you. What is it?
It is the Baneblade.
I don't know, man. I think my headset's on the fritz. One more time.
No, we don't need another one. We don't need another one.
Anyway, the Baneblade, everybody. The main original 11 barrows of hell. So it is the Imperium's premier super heavy tank. It is this giant monstrosity of a vehicle. You see one of these in battle, you better hope it's on your side. It is this giant lumbering beast that sports, just like it says, 11 barrels. I'll quickly go into the standard armament of a Baneblade, which is its main battle cannon, the mega battle cannon, a coaxial autocannon, a demolisher cannon mounted in the hull, the same one used by a Lehman Russ demolisher, 2 sponsons, each sporting twin-linked heavy bolters and a last cannon, and a hull-mounted twin-linked heavy bolter. On the tabletop, you can replace the sponson-mounted heavy bolters with heavy flamers, and you can even throw on a pintle-mounted heavy stubber, like the model we saw earlier of the Krieg tank commander. He can have a heavy stubber for himself. My favorite little detail about the armament of the Baneblade is that in the lore, the autocannon, the coaxial autocannon next to the mega battle cannon barrel, it is not really used in an offensive context. It is used as a spotting weapon, which I don't know if any of you are familiar with the idea of a spotting weapon, but like for a real world example, there's a rocket launcher called the SMA, SMAW. It has underneath its main barrel that fires the rocket what's called a spotting rifle, which fires a bullet that is designed to have the same ballistic capabilities of the main projectile. So if you're not sure if you're going to hit a target with it, you fire the spotting rifle first. If you notice it hits your target, then you just fire the main projectile right after. It's insane. So, but again, insane specifically to the doctrine of the Baneblade. It is an autocannon. You can tear up infantry with it, but they are using it to sight the main gun. It is hysterical to me. Beyond that, I'll get into the tabletop just a little bit. Just for the main cannon of the Baneblade, it has 72 inches of range, can do 3d6 attacks. It hits on 4s, 4 plus ballistic skill, 12 strength, AP -2, and 3 damage. Whereas a quick comparison, the Lehman Russ has 48 inches of range. Lehman Russ battle cannon, d6 plus 3 attacks, also hits on 4s, 12 strength, AP -1, and 3 damage. But this is basically the main Lehman Russ version of the Baneblade. It's a bog standard version. And that's pretty much what I've got in my notes. But if other people want to, by all means, yes, please. I love hearing myself as a voice actor. I love hearing myself talk. But please, I'm gonna curb my ego for this episode.
Man, I think you might have missed a thing or two. I think you missed a couple specific details.
I'm sure I did.
I gotta agree. You want to start filling us in?
Please, please do.
Well, first off, you neglected to mention that this is the Baneblade. It kicks ass. It's the original.
It goes without saying.
I don't think I'm going to keep this nice and easy to avoid wasting time. I don't think this can go anywhere other than Heretic Eraser 5000. It's what all the others are
being the classic.
It's the classic. You can't beat a Baneblade.
It's the granddaddy of them all.
I think technically speaking, Shadow Swords are sister tanks.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not. It's not like the Shadow Swords built off the Baneblade. Like they're two separate tanks with the same chassis. Mm-hmm. But the Baneblade is just, it's that slice of sweet cherry pie cooling on a windowsill where the scent wafts your nose and gets you to float over.
Well, if I have it right, there are 3 main sister tanks that make up all of these variants. There's the Baneblade, the Shadowsword, and then the Stormlord. Those are the 3 primaries that all the others are variants of.
My understanding is the Stormlord uses the Shadowsword chassis. We'll get more into it later, but I believe the Baneblade and the Hellhammer, at least in what we're going to talk about, I believe they are the only variants that use a rotating turret. At least of the 8 buildable ones within the kit, the model kit. Whereas everything else is a casemate design where the turret does not rotate. The tank has to face the target it's shooting. Which, if I'm trying going back to tabletop stuff here. Please do correct me because I've not played in such a long time. It does not matter where a vehicle is rotated if part of the model can see another part
in
of a
in
model.
the current edition of in the current version of Warhammer 40k. Yes, that's true.
But if I remember correctly, in earlier editions, that did matter.
Yes,
Gotcha.
Firing arcs, my beloved.
I'm 99% sure it matters in Horus Heresy 2, right?
It does.
Doesn't Horus Heresy also have blast templates?
It does. It does have blast templates, my beloved. Oh my god!
It truly is the 40k for boomers.
Mm-hmm. All I'm going to say on the topic: I haven't played a game of 10 since it came out. I believe none of that.
I played one game since 10th came out, and it wasn't 10th. It was one-page rules.
Dude, It's fine. I've played 200. It's not worth playing.
Oh
frankly.
god.
But one thing you have left out about the Baneblade, and I think it's very important that it's said, because it's what makes the Baneblade cannon so unique, is that it does essentially fire battle cannon shells, but much like a bolt round, they are self-propelled.
Yeah.
This is what is unique about the Baneblade shell. And it is also the case that there are counterfeit Baneblades made by rival Forge Worlds to Mars, because there is a monopoly on the STC. And so there are poor imitations flaunted about, which often will substitute the Baneblade cannon or the Demolisher cannon in place of a regular battle cannon.
Or just throw a Lehman Russ onto it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Got my Baneblade from Rise. I can't have shit anymore.
Wait, hold on.
Last time I buy a Baneblade from Ryza. The Temu Baneblade. Temu Blade.
You power it on, it starts having like rainbow flashy lights play music.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, important question.
Yeah.
Where in the tier list does the Baneblade go? So, I'll start down here. How do we feel about putting it in Soggy Blade?
No, fuck off.
Nah.
Tom, baby.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay. Mostly operational blade.
Mm-mm.
The Rise Up patterns, yes, but not this. This is a standard pattern we're talking here.
Okay, what about the XL Lehman Russ?
No, we're getting there. We're getting there. Just keep it moving. Keep it moving.
It is one, but that's not the tier I would put it in.
Okay, a Death Wagon Deluxe.
Getting very warm here, Tom.
Mm.
Are we all agreeing to put it in the Heretic Razor 5000?
It is
Yeah.
the Baneblade!
The Baneblade is the entry. It's the guard at the door. No other of the variants can get past it if the variant is not better than the Baneblade. Which we'll get to them, all right. Don't you worry.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. Shall we then move on to our next entry, which is none other than the Hellhammer? So, admittedly, out of the four of us who've gathered here today, I think my Astra Militarum knowledge is definitely the weakest. I'm not going to pretend it's not. However, from an entirely aesthetic perspective, I fucking adore the Hellhammer. I love the fucking snub-nose barrel. The wide-ass snub-nose barrel
It's
of the
just
Hellhammer.
an upsized Lehman Russ Eradicator's Nova Cannon. It's hysterical.
It's like when you get it's like one of those really high caliber sniper rifle barrels. I mean, I don't understand the science behind this. I'm sure a bunch of people listening do, but where at the end of the barrel, it sort of has to, for one reason or another, it has to be widened because of, something to do with
Massive muzzle brake to disperse all the gas and not destroy the person behind it.
Yeah, and this just looks so cool on a tank. It's the crazy thing as well, because it kind of makes the tank look bigger as well, because the muzzle brake gives you this sort of impression of power, right? But it's so diddy, but it's also kind of fucking chunky because you put a guardsman next to it. It's like the muzzle brake itself is the size of a man, and then so the whole rest of the Baneblade just looks like a walking platform.
I had a Hellhammer model. I got it secondhand off of a friend who was selling it for another friend for like $40. He painted it it was a weird Ultramarines livery. He painted it mostly blue and had a kind of a crappy freehand Ultramarines logo on top of the muzzle brake of the cannon. I ended up giving it to another friend because he had talked about wanting to make a Plague Reaper, and I didn't feel like rescuing the model that bad, doing all the repainting. And honestly, if I do get another Baneblade, I do want to go full both barrels and create an Octoblade. But
yeah, absolutely.
I did have one, but it was missing one of the last cannons, and I think the auto cannon was kind of wonky. And I think whoever made it glued the turret down. It was only face forward. Yeah, it was a monster. And my friend, I was at a party with my friends, and he was like, "Oh, dude, do I have your permission to try and muscle this turret?" I'm like, "Dude, go for it. It's fine." He could not get it to budge. It was like red Loctited down or something, and which again, utterly insane. This is one of the two that you can actually turn the turret on. It has a rotating turret, and they must have glued it down.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that friend of yours got put in a mental institute, but
yeah, a friend of his friend, I guess. Yeah,
I think it bears mentioning. It does bear mentioning that the whole point of this tank is to be able to fight in enclosed, confined spaces, usually cities fights or tomb complexes. And so the reason its gun is so stubby and short is so that it can rotate without much overhang of the tank.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it makes sense. Can you believe it? There's a thing in Warhammer that makes sense.
Oh, unspeakable. Absolutely unspeakable. Something unfathomable, rather, that something makes sense in this stupid-ass universe.
So,
I mean,
there has to be a contradictory voice. And I'm of the opinion about the Hellhammer. And you might not like me about here, so if you feel you're going to be a little offended, you might want to close your ears. The Hellhammer is just a downgrade from the regular Baneblade.
Well, I mean, you could say that about like 9 out of 10 of the Baneblades.
No, but like specifically in this case, they just shorten the barrel. It's the kind of tank where like all the Baneblade commanders get together, and then the Hellhammer commander walks in like, "Oh, look at him! He only has a little baby demolisher cannon." Oh,
here's the thing. Obviously, every variant has a different purpose. You know, use the right tool for the right job. But being a tier list, we have to have takes here. But I love all my Baneblades. It's hard to have hot takes on them. I love them all.
Listen, Croc. Counterpoint. It's the shorter, stubbier, right? Therefore bad, or therefore worse, right? That's what you're saying.
In this case, yes.
Okay, now imagine a double-barrel shotgun. Now imagine a sawn-off double-barrel shotgun.
Yeah.
And then,
This is not an argument for making something worse. This is
but imagine then trying to use that sawn-off when your enemy's like 4 kilometers away, you know? And the sawn-off is the size of the tank.
4 kilometers away either. How are you?
Okay, imagine you've brought the sword-off into an urban environment. Yeah, you're thrilled. You're happy. You're having a good time.
Room to room combat is difficult. You do not want a long weapon.
Yeah, but in this case, the room to room combat's being done by a super heavy tank. It drives through the room.
Look, Croc, if you're trying to take this thing to a long range fight, you should be deploying the Banesword instead. That's just poor commander application. If you as a commander put this in a long range fight, you're just a poor commander. It's on you. It's not the tank's fault.
So someone has to be the dissenting voice, and in this case,
slightly worse. So then that's why I need to bring up. I have a couple of other fun little lore things about. I did want to bring up about the Hellhammer, but obviously when we're talking its combat capabilities, versus the Baneblade, that's when I have to get into what it's used for on the tabletop. I'll quickly go into the stats of the Hellhammer cannon. It has 30 inches of range, 4d6 attacks, hits on 4s. 7 strength, AP -1, and 2 damage. But its main trait is like the Eradicator on the Nova Cannon on the Lehman Russ Eradicator. Its big thing is that it ignores cover. So enemies, whether they're behind something, short cover, tall cover, whatever, this ignores it, and it's there to flush out and destroy infantry. And it does have an ability. It has the close quarters warfare ability, which means it does not suffer the penalty to its hit rolls for making ranged attacks while enemy units are within engagement range of it. I said a lot of lame nerd words, but again, that's one other little bonus it has over the Baneblade.
Well, that's valid. I do have one thing to say about its lore use, because again, I don't play tabletop enough.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of bringing a super heavy to urban combat in the same style is just like it's quite overkill, as Warhammer usually is, which I feel detracts from the point of the short barrel being realistic. Because
damn, I'd call that a fucking pro, not a con, but sure.
It's attached to 2 school buses, those 2 school buses can get surrounded by 20 dudes with melter charges.
Baneblade, Croc, if you were going to take any Baneblade variant into a tomb complex, which would you take?
Shadowsword, because I'm incredibly biased. Like, what kind of questions is that?
A Shadowsword? That's like swatting a fly with a fucking rocket launcher.
Yeah, you'll get the guy, won't you? And then everyone next to him.
Yeah,
Croc,
and
you're like that general who was in charge of racks for the first 60 years. That's what you're like right now.
Look, I preface this at the start. I'm full of my job is to bring the opinions. They don't have to be good ones. I bring them.
The fucking some Jeremy Clarkson ass attitude.
This is brilliant, but I like this.
No, I was more thinking of him just screaming power, but yes, that's.
I would say.
Oh, sorry.
I can understand why you appreciate the Hellhammer, but when it comes down to it, it's just the circumcised Baneblade, in my opinion.
Circumcised Bane. All right, enough of this. Right, where are we putting it?
Okay. I want to go really quick. Just in some fun lore tidbits I found. There is a Hellhammer that was scavenged by a Catechin regiment called the Traitor's Bane. A Jokero by the name of Kasi upgraded it in a number of ways, most notably to allow it to reach a speed. I laugh every time I read this. To allow it to reach a speed of 200 miles per hour without the crew noticing the effects of the speed. Now, for reference, a normal Baneblade, or I think any of the variants, going flat out on paved road can only go up to 16 miles per hour. Now, we know, like when you're watching Formula One or something, you can see those cars, they'll reach speeds of 200 miles per hour or something like that. You can fathom something that small going that fast. You are seeing a super heavy tank, larger than like an M1 Abrams or a Challenger or whatever modern tanks, like 3 times the size of it, 4 times even, going 200. You're watching a building speed past you.
I think at that point, the tank becomes more lethal than any of its weapons.
Exactly.
Just on the mention of a Jokero weaponsmith alone, I'm retracting my previous point. It goes above Beyblade.
He's a very simple man. Okay, right. Come on, right. Let's put him in.
Just the one. This is just the one, anyway.
No,
I don't think it comes ahead of the Baneblade. I don't.
No.
I mean, I like the Hellhammer a lot. I don't think it makes it to the Heretic Eraser 5000.
Definitely not.
I'm honest enough to say that, but I like it a lot. I really like it. I will take an argument for XL Lehman Russ. I'd rather put it in Deathwagon Deluxe, but I'm just super biased because, I mean, this is the thing as well. It's like the lore for the Hellhammer is just it's dealing with fortifications, dealing with
entrenched enemies, enemies behind cover specifically.
But really, that's not why I like it. I like it because of the aesthetic, and I understand that's quite a weak reason to like something, especially when all of the Baneblades look just so good. Even the bad ones look really good.
Rule of especially even if you're doing tabletop, rule of cool is real. Let's be honest. Bringing a Baneblade to the tabletop, it's more of a big swinging dick move rather than like a sound tactical decision.
Well, unless you bring 3 of them, in which case it's just scary.
Yes.
And a valid list.
And a valid list. I'm going to make an argument for high XL Lehman Russ.
I would
put it there
agree
as well.
That. I agree.
Yeah, I concur.
I think I can understand the appeal to the Hellhammer, but when you compare it to like the other Baneblade variant, it's kind of just there,
It's just there.
Like you can appreciate it, but it's not a Shadowsword, really.
And speaking of the Shadowsword,
yes.
Next up we have none other than the Astra Militarum Shadowsword. Croc, would you like to gush for a few minutes?
I absolutely would. Okay, so as Nick said before, you don't buy a Bane variant for like list pros, list cons. You don't buy it for anything. You buy it because they are cool. The Shadowsword. The GW design team, when they were told to make this thing, they're like, fuck yeah, dude, let's make this metal as fuck. Do you have any idea how a Shadowsword works? How volcano cannons work?
Oh, I do.
This is... So, first order of business, just to cover the, tactical nonsense, these are tanks that are fitted with extra capacitors and extra targeting range stuff. So they just never miss, because they've got all the fancy kit to help guide in the shots.
The important thing is...
Shut up. We're not talking about tabletop. Okay, shut up. Shut up, you naysayer. Okay, the main thing is, volcano cannons, there's a bunch of these psychers that jumped into a volcano and crystallized. And, the Imperium, being the way they are, like, yeah, we're going to stick that to huge las weapons, dude. Fuck yeah. So you then mount that to a tank that is that big, with that much of a weapon, and you officially made something that could punch out Titans from, 30 kilometers away. It's a weapon that is so powerful, the rest of the tank has to be turned off just to shoot it, which means it constantly needs to have a rear guard around it at all times, which I know what you're going to say, Zarek. And the rear guard constantly has to get memory wiped because of the psychic death scream of the psychic death being shot out of the psychic death cannon. And it just kills Titans. It just does that.
So is the glaze complete?
It's wonderful. The volcano cannon is basically, it is the mother of all las cannons. It's called a volcano cannon because it has a tendency to turn rock and stone into magma. It liquefies it liquefies rocks around it at the point of impact. I think, and other than a shadow sword, you would only see the volcano cannon mounted on Warlord, Reaver, and Imperator class Titans. So it is a Titan weapon, and it's the Baneblade that is made to kill Titans. That the weapon is, oh my god, it's insane.
If if you find yourself thinking a tank isn't cool when the main gun can be described as, what is it, dead wizard laser gun, you got to be considering some things like a little different, you know?
Look, as much as you guys are juicing this thing up, it is also horribly, horribly problematic if you actually want to run a regiment for more than 10 years. So, firstly, more than all the other guns that a Baneblade can be fitted with, the Volcano Cannon is most prone to needing to be replaced. Approximately every 1,500 shots, it needs replaced. Otherwise, it might just backfire and blow up the tank. This is only the beginning of its problems. Secondly, as you pointed out, the crystals used for focusing this laser are in fact a finite resource made of a limited number of psychers who jumped into a volcano. The problem here is, at a certain point, after a certain number of refits, probably in the not-so-distant future, given how many volcano cannons have been used by the Imperium, they're gonna run out.
Well, okay. I do ask you the question, though. When has something in 40k that is touted as really rare and finite ever run out?
That's besides the point.
Hold up. Literally all of the stuff from the Heresy. Literally so much stuff. What are you talking about? Are you insane? Do you know how much... It would be easier to name the stuff that hasn't run out.
That's besides the point, okay?
No, it's not. It's quite literally the point, you monkey.
They can't sell shadow swords anymore if they write them out of the lore for bringing out resources.
Now, on top of this,
they don't want people to use 30k stuff and 40k stuff. That's a separate issue.
That is a separate issue, but... So it's not relevant, Krog. What is relevant, however, is, as you said, the Psychic Death Scream does start to have deleterious mental effects on anybody in the vicinity. Now, you suggested mind wipes. However, this is not common practice, because mind wiping is actually quite an intensive and expensive thing to do. If you're running a regiment, that means you're just going to have to fucking recycle 1,000 guardsmen every few years.
I mean, to be fair, that isn't a problem. That's something the Guard are very good at doing, to be fair. I mean, I agree with the points you're making, and I understand that Croc's an idiot, but that's not actually a problem the Guard has. Recycling 1,000 guardsmen per minute is not really, that's not a concern.
If you want your regiment to be competent, if you want your guardsmen to be competent, then no. You don't want to have to do that.
This is the 41st Millennium we're talking about. It's a very big if.
Yeah, but again, this is more... Hey, do you want to be remembered for dying in this one really cool battle? Or do you want to serve for more than 2 decades?
It doesn't affect the crew, though. So the important guardsmen are kept safe from the psychic death.
No, it doesn't affect the crew of Titans. I don't believe we have a note on the Shadowsword, per se.
I think, we can't assume that, because the only thing we have to go off is it's saying, oh yeah, it doesn't affect X. That doesn't imply it does affect Y.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see what you're saying. I almost want to do a deep dive on volcano cannons. Talking about this.
Oh,
there is an entire supplement.
There's an entire supplement.
I shit you not.
It has a fairly lengthy 40k wiki page, I'm pretty sure, when I was skimming through it earlier. Can I talk again briefly going to tabletop on the Shadowsword?
Sure.
You can. That's like the one thing of 10th edition I actually gave a shit about.
The Volcano Cannon has 96 inches of range, D3 plus 1 attacks, so very, very few. Again, reflecting how little they can shoot the thing. Hits on 4s, 24 strength. I have written in my notes, Zooey Mama! ! AP -5 and 12 damage. And I also have in my notes in bold, hot damn. It also has the Titan Killer ability, which gives its attacks the Devastating Wounds ability when targeting a monster or vehicle unit. That means a critical wound inflicts mortal wounds equal to the Volcano Cannon's damage characteristic instead of any normal damage. This thing is, for all accounts, just utterly badass, devastating weapon, and as a result, I think even on the tabletop, I'm willing to bet it is the most commonly used variant in people's lists.
Can I... Wait, I got an argument that I really have to put forward. I'm so sorry, Zarek. I know you got a tabletop thing, but I got to push this forward real quick.
Go on.
Brock, do you know why the Shadow Sword is bad?
Oh my god. Hot take incoming, everybody get down!
I'm aware of why it could be considered bad, but of course that's not possible because the Shadow Sword is the best.
I would like to bring your attention to the same logic you applied with the Hellhammer. because the Shadow Sword is simply a watered down version of the Legion Falchion Super Heavy Tank Destroyer. Do you know what the difference between? Do you know what the difference? Do you know what the difference between the Shadow Sword and the Legion Falchion Heavy Destroyer is?
The Falchion's got 2 volcano cannons.
It has 2 volcano cannons. It has 2.
That would be a completely valid point if this was a tier list of tanks in general. This is guard tanks. Keep your Space Marine shit.
Yeah.
Out of here.
I heard weakness in his voice, but I'll allow it.
Hey, you're an hour turn for you, pal. This is the guard, son. Take your ass back to the aspirate pool if you can't handle it.
All I'm saying, Lackey, if you wanted to change the picture of the Shadow Sword for the superior Legion Falchion Super Heavy Tank now, that would be super based.
As an actual rebuttal to that, though, what is the balance between the number of Shadow Swords in existence and the number of Legion Falchions in existence?
Curious.
Like, out of those 2, which one made it to the 41st millennium?
You're right. You're absolutely right. There is a correlation between increased quantity and a lack of quality. You're absolutely right.
You were waiting for that, you bastard.
I've been outplayed. Oh no.
I was prepared to drop the Space Marine thing, man, but you kept going.
You've activated its trap card.
No, I love the Shadow Sword as much as the next guy. But again, putting up my hand to say not the biggest Astra Militarum guy when it comes to the lore or such. I'm like the only person here who's going almost, not completely, but almost completely on fashion. And the Shadow Sword doesn't do it for me. It's got this great big long laser, but the laser, the cannon is like devoid of anything that makes it look particularly cool. It just looks a little bit flaccid and weak.
I think what would make it. Oh, sorry. No, if you were going to continue.
No, it's just this long. It's just a long pipe. Unlike the Hellhammer, it doesn't even have like the Hellhammer's barrel looks cooler. Granted, it's about 1/15 of the length.
What I think would have probably made it look a little cooler, even though this is, I don't think any other like las-based weapons do this sort of thing. Make it similar to like a plasma gun, where it has like going along the barrel like these clear looking. Just these accents that you could fill it in with like red of like a charging laser. I think that would make it look a little cooler.
Okay, I'm just saying a lot of people paint the Legion Super Heavy Falchion that way because
I was saying it's funny you mention this. Have you seen the Solar Auxilia Shadow Sword?
Solar Auxilia Shadow Sword. Let's have a look. How's this thing
that
different?
Thing by comparison is just so much meatier.
It's just a brick. It's a brick. All right,
that doesn't make a difference.
I will give you some credit. The Solar Auxilia one does look a tad nicer than the normal one. That is fair.
It has the same grooves on its volcano cannon that Titan weapons do.
Are you referring to the? Sorry, terribly sorry for interrupting. Are you referring to the Legiones Imperialis? Shadow Sword. Now I will admit the Imperialis Shadow Sword fucks. It looks so good.
It really nice. It does have the sauce.
It's got the gold trim on it and everything, and it's like you've taken a Shadow Sword and you've made it regal. It looks really nice. That's all right. Fair. I will give you that.
I have one point that will shatter this thing to a million pieces.
Bold.
This is the one Baneblade where if it is charged by an enemy dreadnought, there is nothing it can do.
What do you mean?
Ooh.
So, I'll start from a rules basis and expand more into lore here. So, as Nick very kindly pointed out, it's got some pretty nice stats. What Nick didn't mention, though, is that it has the Blast special rule.
Yes.
Now, normally this would be cool because it means every 5 models you hit with it, you get an additional shot. However, it also means it cannot be fired point blank into something that you're in combat with as a vehicle.
But I will concede, even though I think earlier Croc was adamant that it is you just drive this thing into your enemy no matter what. This is the sniper of the Bane Blades. This is the one where you want to keep it in the back, especially tabletop translating to lore. 96 inches of range. That is very, very far. This is made to knock things out from very far away.
It's impressive, but it's certainly not the longest range.
If we're talking specific battlefield roles like we were at the Hellhammer, if a Shadow Sword is getting charged by a Dreadnought, the war front has turned dramatically, and you should probably evacuate the planet.
Yes.
Because
Back it up.
Well, that's nice and all, but Dreadnought drop pods exist.
in the 41st.
They-
Oh, yeah, no, they do. Yeah.
They do, yeah, they do.
As do Storm Raven gunships, which can also drop dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, but there is a little team of guardsmen running around. So how's that dreadnought going to feel when 3 dudes run up to him and just pop a melter charge around that sarcophagus? You know,
Is that your answer to everything? Oh,
Well,
melter charges.
it's
Well,
a
here's
good
the thing,
answer.
Croc.
It's a good answer.
Here's the thing, Croc. Maybe they would, but this isn't one of the variants that has a transport capacity. And I don't think those guardsmen want to stand super close to the Psychic Screaminator 7 billion.
If we're talking lore, there is like by definition there has to be dudes that guard it because it can't move when it's shooting.
I feel like this is just kind of this is an elevated version of the playground. Well, my flame projection can burn through any shield. Well, no, my shield's like titanium and fire can't go through it. And my fire's like super hot, so it can melt titanium. Well, my shield. This is what we have devolved to, ladies and gentlemen.
But
Welcome to Stars Anonymous.
I think it is, though, worth mentioning. This is one of the few Baneblades that is going to require auxiliary support. If this thing does not have auxiliary support, it will just be annihilated. It cannot operate on its own.
They all require auxiliary support, but this one depends on it. Like, absolutely depends on it.
I mean, in general, even in like real life military doctrines, especially if you're moving a tank into like an urban environment, you will need infantry support.
Otherwise, the 20 unnamed dudes with melter charges will appear.
Melter charges or rocket launchers from buildings and windows and such, just flanking it. That being said, it does have, it does have a twin heavy bolters and the las cannons, but beyond that.
All right, ladies and gents. So before I say anything, before Croc interrupts me, I was going to argue to put this in XL Lehman Russ. In fact, I was probably going to argue to put it behind the Hellhammer. However, Croc reminding me that the Legiones Imperialis Shadowsword has swayed me a little bit, because that is like genuinely one of the coolest Imperialis models at the moment. It's so cool because you can see, like, you can realistically play a game where someone's got like just 10 of them, and it's like, low
rating on drip alone. Tom is out for blood.
I mean, let me see if I can put this on the screen. Oh no, I can't. There's I'll put it in the references for, like, if you want to just put this image on the screen of the 2 Imperialis ones.
They're just
they're just unfathomably sexual.
Ribbed for her pleasure.
Absolutely. And so with that, I would be inclined to up my vote from XL Lehman Russ to Death Wagon Deluxe.
I'll take it.
What's everyone else saying?
It is at the very least Death Wagon.
I rate it mostly operational blade, personally.
Really? Ooh.
Whoa.
Okay,
because it is mostly operational.
I would give it, for me, it's Death Wagon because it is really damn good at what it was made to do.
What about you, Croc? You're still up here, aren't you?
Yeah, personally, I'd put it behind the Baneblade and Heretic Eraser, but I will settle for Death Wagon.
All right, I think that averages out at Death Wagon, to be fair. Damn, Zarek, that's fucking brutal. Mostly operational blade.
I like it, but I don't like it that much.
That's fair. So next up, we have the Banestorm.
Oh, I love the Banestorm so much. It's so cool.
This one.
Would you like to give us the full entire lore of the Banestorm?
Yes. The Banestorm was a super heavy tank used by the Imperial Army during the Horus Heresy.
That's it, everybody. That's it. That's all the lore we have on the Banestorm. We know it exists. We know that.
Heretic Eraser 5,000, highest tier. Go. Let's
just so cool, man. It's so good. It's like, why would you ever put it any lower?
It was one of the tanks of all time.
It was.
So that is all the information we have for this tank.
So if I remember correctly, it is mentioned once in one of the End in the Death books.
It's where one of the writers couldn't remember the name of a Ashram Latarum tank, and it got past the editor's room.
And End the Death, Volume 1.
because the editors also didn't realize. They're just like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. Rubber stamp.
Couldn't bother just Googling it.
Banestorm, yeah, that sounds like a Baneblade variant, sure. Yeah, so
it's important to remember they didn't bother to try and bring this back in the next 10,000 years.
That you know of.
It sucked so bad
They didn't.
It sucked so bad that this is what why Horus killed the Emperor. He was able to kill the Emperor.
In fact, the Banestorm, it could have been a situation like the Imperial Fist Librarians. They were kept on Terra for their own good.
Oh, do you know what I reckon it was? I've just worked it out based on what you've just said. I'm making a educated guess. The Banestorm would have been a Volkite variant of the Baneblade, and that's why it no longer exists.
Ooh.
Don't make something that doesn't exist cool. Don't do that. Don't do it.
Tough titties.
Don't.
Which
Oh,
Here is my opinion based on pure conjecture. You cannot refute it.
It was revealed to be in a dream.
Source, I made it the fuck up.
Unironically, yes, I have made it the fuck up. Canonically now, the Banestorm is the deceased Volkite variant. But that would make sense, like, based on the time period, you know.
See, this guy, his name was Arkan Bane, and he came to me in a dream. My son, you must go see my tank, the Banestorm. It's so cool, man. It's got Volkite and everything. It's me, Arkan Bane, Arkanland's less-known brother, renowned for making the Lehman Russ battle tanks.
Unfortunately, though, for each likelihood that it could be a Volkite variant, there is the same likelihood that it could just be, like, I don't know, like just a personnel carrier with, like, no weapons. It could be anything.
What if I had a rotary las gun array? Not las cannon, just las guns.
Are you talking about? Are you bringing up multi-lasers?
Multiple multi-lasers? That actually be kind of cool.
like a multi-laser variant of the Stormlord. It's like the Stormlord, but there's like six barrels of multi-lasers.
I walk that back. That's pretty awesome.
It's not. It's really not.
That's terrible.
I choose to believe. I believe.
When has a multi-laser ever killed anything?
Do you know what could be cool? Do you know what could be cool? If it was a artillery Baneblade.
That already exists, so it's probably not.
There's like 3 of them that can do that.
What? Artillery, as in like shoots up? No. I mean, it's built exclusively for that.
Yeah, the Banesword.
If you angle a Banesword enough,
that's its purpose. It is an artillery variant.
Oh.
We'll get to the Banesword.
I
It's
didn't
next.
realize.
Lucky us. The Banesword
All
is
right, well,
next.
hold on. Where are we putting the Banestorm? It's got to go on Soggy Blade, right?
Soggy Blade, I guess.
Soggy.
I'm just saying, just for anyone listening, if GW comes out and says, "Oh yeah, the Banestorm was the Volkite Baneblade," I will be coming back to this video and I will be retroactively editing it to put it in fucking heretic arrays of 5,000.
No, what you will be doing is asking for your paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So next up we have. Oh my god, it's the Banesword. We have the Banesword next. So who here cares about the Banesword? Zarek, you wanted to talk about the Banesword.
I care about this a great deal. Look, I like artillery a lot. I think, guard, you have your artillery, and that makes you pretty cool. That's what makes you unique. And that's what makes the Banesword unique too. Remember, guys, if someone ever bullies you for being different, just remember that you're unique, just like the Banesword.
And hit them with
you're unique, but you're not the Banesword. Key difference.
Now, it does bear mentioning, if I recall, Nick, you've got the stats up there. Does the Banesword have a transport capacity?
I didn't go big into the stats. I don't believe the Banesword does. I feel like I would have written that down, but let me double check.
I will yap for a minute about the Quake Cannon while I cross-reference this to my codex.
It does not, however. It does not have transport capability.
It does not. Okay. Oh,
No.
well. It's not one of the good ones. Anyway, the Banesword, though, does have a Quake Cannon, which is just essentially Titan-scale artillery. You may also know the Quake Cannon from the... what is it? The...
Warbringer Nemesis.
That's the one. Thank you. Yes. There's the gun that it mounts on the top of its back.
That's what I'm here for, baby.
That is what you're here for. And the range I have on this is that it can fire shots up to 24 kilometers.
What the
Yes.
fuck? Okay, that is artillery.
It is artillery, and also they tend to get their names after their first big kill. That is a sort of a tradition that the pilots have, is to name it after something they kill. This, however, does tend to be difficult because it's likely they've just annihilated whatever they shot at.
What kind of? I'm curious now, based on that information. What kind of named Baneswords are out there?
There are 4 I see here. There is the Executioner of Cadanth, the Night Father, Tyrann's Doom, and Warmaster's Ruin.
All right, that's kind of that's a lot cooler than I was expecting. To be fair,
Warmaster's Ruin, huh?
That's a Tallarn tank, so probably named for operations either during the 13th Black Crusade or all the way back during the Horus Heresy on the Battle of Tallarn. Who knows?
Also needs citation, but that's funny.
It
Yeah.
does require citation.
You know, I'm a fan of the Shadow Sword, and the Bane Sword is just the logical next step from the Shadow Sword, because it's also really big gun, you know?
Yes.
And I think it's very funny that on record, certain guard commanders will have said they'll sacrifice 2 or 3 whole regiments just for a Bane Sword, because they're just that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Banesword it is very similar to the Shadowsword in terms of in terms of like Titan killing purposes, but I think both in lore and on the tabletop, it's a little more suited towards assaulting fortifications. The Quake Cannon it can ignore cover, and it has an ability called Armor Obliteration, which means each time it destroys an enemy model with the Deadly Demise ability, it will inflict mortal wounds on a d6 roll of 3 up instead of just a straight 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really fun.
Yes. Going back to some fun lore stuff with it. Zarek, I'm sure you're probably going to mention it, but the Quake Cannon is bonkers in concept because each shell contains fragments of a planet that was exterminatus.
Yeah.
Not only that, the AdMech are dispatched to a recently destroyed planet to capture the blast waves of the destruction on wave recording devices so they can replicate them for the Quake shells that the cannon uses. The shells are known to make a screaming sound as they travel through the air, leading some to believe it's the collective ghostly screams of the destroyed planet's population.
Look,
Least
all I'm
Warhammer
saying-
40k thing ever.
all I'm saying, all the Shadow Swords and their variants just got really metal shit going on with their cannons, man.
Oh yeah. One last bit about the cannon. And if you guys know more about the model itself, do correct me. I believe the only difference between the Banesword and the Shadowsword is just the little piece right at the end of the barrel.
Oh,
I think all
yeah.
you need to do is just change out the muzzle brake and boom, you have the other variant.
It's funny you mentioned that because it's the exact same for 2 other variants we'll get to later on that are also the casemate, where it's quite literally you add a little piece to the end of the barrel and it changes the whole tank.
Yep.
Is there a Imperialis variant of the Banesword?
There is not yet.
Not yet. He hopes, he prays.
To my knowledge, there isn't a profile for the Banesword, which means if it is coming, it's not going to be until we get the next expansion, at least.
Just slightly off-topic question. How many fucking Imperial Guard tanks do you own for Imperialis?
Ooh, that's a big question. When it comes to super heavies, I own 6 at the minute because I need to tone down to make room for Space Marine stuff, but I plan on getting more.
Okay.
Then it's like, then on top of that, it's 6 Malcadors and then like 8 Lehman Russes. I need to get some Dracosans for transport purposes.
Are they all Shadow Swords?
I only own 2 Shadow Swords, actually. The other are 4
Really?
Baneblades. Because
Okay.
That's because Shadow Swords hadn't come out yet. So.
You're far more of a measured man than I thought you were.
No,
Oh,
if
no.
it wasn't for the fact that I was focusing on my Space Marines at the minute, I'd have like 6 Shadow Swords. No question.
Okay. All right. So, right, Banesword, the Banesword. I think honestly, personally, this does not have the saving grace for me that I would have given the Shadow Sword. So my spot for it is like behind the Hellhammer.
Okay, no, it's funny you mention that because I do have one thing to talk about it that might sway you. You're talking about the
Okay.
Hellhammer, how it had the meaty muzzle brake on the end.
Yeah.
Have you seen the muzzle brake on a Banesword?
I've just literally just googled a shit ton of Banesword pictures. I'm not seeing any meaty muzzle brake.
Even the one I see, it's not the biggest, most impressive thing, but it's there.
Well, never mind then. Ignore me.
So yeah, so that's where I'm going to be standing by for my vote. What about you guys? Let's find an average.
That's I would put it about there too. XL Lehman Russ. It's cool, and it's got it's another thing it's got its own capabilities, but again, not the coolest thing ever. I didn't go over the stats of the cannon itself, but again, it's just like it's a lesser Shadow Sword.
Yeah.
In that regard.
I have to rate it Deathwagon Deluxe simply because its artillery, 24 kilometers, is crazy.
That is pretty great.
Okay. Croc, do you want to tiebreaker this?
I'm inclined to agree. I wouldn't put it above the Shadow Sword because I'm heavily biased, but just on like the pure factor of shooting dead planets at people from 24 kilometers away with the shells screaming overhead and not being able to properly confirm who you killed to name the tank after.
Literally screaming.
So Does it for me.
That's okay. That's okay. I will submit. That's fine. Right,
You look
ladies
at
and
that
gentlemen.
tank and you think that's a Death Wagon Deluxe right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, and Croc.
Oh,
Next up is none other than the Banehammer. So before anyone says anything about the Banehammer's lore, I have to say this. This is the ugliest Baneblade.
Yeah, we're getting into the stubby boys here.
Well, we had a stubby boy earlier, and that stubby boy was handsome. This is it's like Moots. Moots is a little guy, but he makes up for it by being handsome, having great charisma, being wonderful. This is a guy who's like 5'2" and just hates women. That's how I feel about the Banehammer.
if we're talking pure aesthetics, it's the only tank that looks like it has a second chin.
It's the only tank that just looks like a big hunk of metal with treads, and there's just happens to be a hole in the front of it. It looks like its barrel's unfinished. Actually, that's what it looks like.
This tank takes everything that I kind of don't like a little bit about the Hellhammer and makes me actually not like it. Because at least the Hellhammer has like practicality on its side and the drip with the muzzle brake. This is just, we designed a tank for urban combat that can only face its main urban combat gun forward.
Well, it's not necessarily for urban combat. What it's mainly used for is disrupting massive columns of infantry and tanks, or particularly, as it's noted, fighting Tyranids and pinning them, literally forcing them to crawl. Because the tremor cannon burrows into the earth before detonating, which then sets off miniature earthquakes.
I was going to say, even though the Banesword's cannon is called the Quake Cannon, the Tremor Cannon actually utilizes mini earthquakes. If the explosion doesn't kill them, it'll slow them down with the shockwave, and then everything else, they're just exposed to fire.
Yeah, it's still ugly as shit, though. I mean, okay, cool. All right, that is very cool. That's very cool. But it's almost like the only Baneblade that has a purpose that is not to immediately kill the enemy. It's just to annoy the enemy. Maybe annoy is a bit of an understatement, right? I feel compelled just to immediately say this one is like soggy blade for me. I'm so sorry. It's so hideous. I can't overlook how hideous it is. Croc, does this have an Imperialis version?
It does, but it's on the setback casemate version because it's an alternate barrel choice for the Shadowsword, if I remember correctly.
Which no one's ever going to do because it's horrendous. Okay.
Yeah, it's
and also your choices are between Shadowsword and Stormhammer.
It does, however, have a transport capacity.
Yes, it does.
Oh, wow.
26 guardsmen.
I mean, that's cool and all. I think I'd put this in mostly operational blade because tremor cannons are cool, and rule of cool is what prevails when it comes to the Baneblade variant. But I could put this also in soggy blade.
I feel like if you're the general that gets his new fucking resupply of Baneblades, and you end up just getting like one of these, you're going to be asking, "Hey, can I send this back?" This is the only Baneblade you ask if you can send back.
You're doing the Joe Pesci bit. What the fuck is this piece of fucking shit?
It's like you ever see those videos? It's like Christmas time. A kid sees a PS5 box, opens it, it's got socks inside.
It's the Banehammer.
My lord, we've got you reinforcements. Baneblades. Oh, excellent. Oh, no, sorry. Misspelled it. Banehammers. Oh, are you sure that wasn't sent to the 506th and not us? I'm sure, my lord. Banehammers.
My issue with it is, again, when we're talking right tool for the right job, this is, I think, very specific. Like, this is what you want to use against a fast moving army that could overwhelm you easily. Like it's good against Tyranids, but not that much else I'd care to put it up against.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not gonna say it's like uncool because like it has its merit. What its missile and its payload does is it objectively very cool.
Yeah, it creates earthquakes.
But at the same time, it's like it's just the less cool version of a Doomhammer.
I will say really quickly about the projectile. They are like the other ones. They're self-propelled rockets, but these have a hard tip that helps them dig into the earth and are actually adapted from a squat design.
Oh.
Yeah, just interesting lore tidbit.
I think maybe there's, I don't know, if I try to be a bit more generous, there is a cool kind of contingency for the Banehammer, and that is subterranean warfare. And obviously you're not going to take the Banehammer underground, right?
Sure.
But there is this notion that, because subterranean warfare is absolutely a thing in 40k. In fact, subterranean warfare is the reason that Space Marine Mark III iron armor exists, which is fun. But if you have a situation where there's subterranean warfare and you've just got like one of these on the surface, everyone is dead. Everyone dies.
Well, in particularly, if you've got like sappers digging tunnels in a trench war, this is the perfect answer. If they had one of these on Hydrocordatus, it would have gone differently.
Yeah, this will delete trenches.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, despite my misgivings, I still can't bring it above Soggy Blade. I'm terribly sorry.
It's mostly operational at best for me, but I'm going to go ahead and have a take here. I would put it in Soggy Blade. It is far too specific use case.
Yeah. What about you two? What do you guys think?
XL Lumen Rust for me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I think
I like
considering what its sibling is capable of doing, at most I put it mostly operational, but not behind the other one when we get to it.
Okay, well I'm happy to concede that you two together can put it in low, mostly operational.
Yeah.
And we'll take it just out of Soggy
That's
Blade.
acceptable.
Yeah.
Right, next up we have none other than the fucking Doomhammer. So the Doomhammer is, if I recall correctly, the Doomhammer is the one that's like, in aesthetics at least, it's very, very similar to the Banehammer.
It's the Banehammer, but you put the extra barrel piece on.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, it's the Shadowsword piece. Yep.
I won't lie, from a visual standpoint, that does a lot to it for me. That improves the tank a lot for me, visually speaking. That little extra nubbin. I still think it looks a bit goofy compared to like literally every single other Baneblade variant, but that does a lot for me.
Okay, I will say some stuff about the Doomhammer. First of all, I've mentioned a couple times how metal some of the stuff to do with Bane variants are, and this is no exception. This thing was made for an 1,000-year siege.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, so it could take out Titans, because they couldn't get shadow swords.
They ran out. They had lost a lot of shadow swords.
The whole thing I pointed out, where the crystals are a finite resource, that mattered for once. Once.
Yeah.
So quite literally, in this one scenario, some commanders were like, what if we just made a shadow sword that didn't have the downsides but just had less range? And that's what the Doomhammer is. It doesn't need to stop. It doesn't. Well, it probably still does emit the psychic death screws, but it doesn't need to stop. It can still kill Titans. Like, what do you want from it?
And in the end of that conflict, when I was reading on it, it said, to quote, "The combined actions of 2 score Doomhammers was the final tipping point in the siege of Ordana." I mean, obviously, this was a 1,000-year siege, but do correct my math. 2 score is 40 Doomhammers. We saw, if I remember correctly, we saw 1 Baneblade in Space Marine 2. That's a lot of tanks. But again, that's over the course of 1,000 years.
And it does bear mentioning, because this thing is dealing with close range killing, it's got a transport capacity. So when you down a Titan, you've got people who can disembark and deal with the Sekutari.
Mm-hmm.
That is good thinking. It is a well-designed vehicle.
It's solid, Not really many complaints.
It is still a little bit lacking in the fashion department.
Yeah.
However, you guys are right, and it's not lacking as much as its predecessor. I think based on the fact that it's a little bit it's ugly, but it's not as ugly, and it's like literally just a budget version of a superior tank. That's peak mostly operational blade for me.
I will say one thing to it. I think the design lends itself very well to the fact that it's a retrofit tank. It kind of oozes that sort of, we kind of needed to make this. So it's a little ugly, but it does what it needs to do. That's why I'd put it in XL Lehman Russ, possibly ahead of the Hellhammer.
I think I would put it in XL Lehman Russ, at least, if anything, for I'm not going to go into the big details of the tabletop stuff, but its close range Titan killer ability basically allows it, if it first off, the range on this cannon is only 24 inches, way shorter than the Shadowsword's 96. But if it's targeting a monster or vehicle unit, it would always be within half range, and so you get a lot of bonuses. Plus, it's Melta 6 ability. So at least on the tabletop, seems actually pretty badass if you can get in range of something.
Mm.
I've got to concur. Top of XL Lehman Russ for me.
So 2 top of XL Lehman Russ, 1 for most operational. What was yours again, Croc?
Mine was top of XL.
Top of XL. All right, I'll put it ahead of the Hellhammer.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fine. Right. Next up, we have none other than the Stormsword.
Yet another field conversion of the Shadowsword.
So the Stormsword, I think, out of the ugly Lehman Russes, out of the ugly Baneblades, is the least ugly. It's like it's I was about to be really horrible to Aaron then, just instinctively, and I had to stop myself.
Leave the poor
Yeah,
boy
it's
alone.
he's not even here. He's not even here today.
He's gonna listen. Maybe, I don't know.
No, he's Aaron's like the only guy who does not listen to the podcast. He'll never know. No, it's definitely like the least ugly of the ugly Baneblades. It is still, however, an ugly Baneblade. What does this thing specialize in?
It was born from a need to have a super heavy tank that's suitable for urban combat. Fires a rocket propelled shell designed to destroy buildings and other structures. But well, as for funny lore tidbit, because again, this came out like they were repurposing like screwed up shadow swords into one of these. When it comes to building a storm sword in the lore, tech priests are divided. By that I mean, like, the original Stormsword was created as a result of modifications to damage Baneblades and Shadow Swords in order to get to at least have a functioning tank again.
Yeah.
But again, it's not going to be suited toward its original purposes. Therefore, some tech priests get upset and they say like that's not what they're meant to do. You're pissing off the machine spirit. And so because of that, like, very storm swords were designed to the same specifications, at least around the time they were creating these in the lore. And the tech priests would claim that some super heavy tanks that were in perfect working order were later converted into storm swords, which really pissed them off. Yeah. And as a result, it is not an officially recognized STC design, and some tech priests just look down upon regiments that field them.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So basically, this Baneblade is yet another exercise in why the Mechanicus are assholes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a funny thing to mention about the Stormsword.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Banehammer, but it fires a different shell.
Okay, elaborate.
Pretty much.
Well, the tanks look the same. It just fires a different shell.
Yeah.
And just by mentioning, this shell is noticed as being each more than 180 kilograms.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact, do you know what else weighs 180 kilograms on average?
A space
A
marine?
whale heart.
Oh, a whale heart? Oh.
I thought you were going to
ask me what whale.
I thought you were going to say your balls, but I'm glad to see you're more mature than that.
Oh, what whale? I fucking know what whale. Shut the fuck up. What whale? I know what you're about to say, you bastard. So I'm going to talk over you. So the intent of these shells is generally for siege warfare, with the intent to, first of all, breach a wall, then break its ground floor and foundations so that the whole thing will collapse in on itself.
So it's just a siege vehicle, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so popular.
The varied. There's a lot of pretty good at sieging.
Well, certainly this basically is, by virtue of that, this is like guaranteed sits just in the middle between the last two.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the better Banehammer is what it is.
Because it's fuck ugly. No, that's going to be... No, I'm going to be rude. Oh, man. I keep thinking of... I keep having to catch myself because I'm thinking of ways to bully Aaron now, and I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. I'm going to bin that line of thought, and instead I'm going to be positive. Let's put this in XL Lehman Russ instead of mostly operational plays.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right in the middle.
Yeah. Right in the middle.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Not above the Hellhammer, surely.
Yeah, not above the Hellhammer.
No.
Yeah. In the middle of these
Hellhammer's
two.
got looks.
It's in the middle of these two, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine where it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely fine. So next up we have the Stormlord. I'm actually really fond of the Stormlord because
I love the Stormlord.
It's like a bigger version of the that one tank. That one
Lehman Russ Punisher?
No. It's is it it's not
It's one of the more esoteric guard variants, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
like the Crassus or something like that.
No, it's the Macarius
Christus?
Vulcan.
Yes. How did I forget?
I absolutely adore the Macarius Vulcan, and the Stormlord is just the bigger brother of the Macarius Vulcan.
Yes.
Damn, I was just on my other monitor, I've just gone to go look at pictures of the Macarius Vulcan, and it's like, the fact that this tank exists is like, if there were more tanks that had this kind of vibe, I probably would be a guard player, not a Space Marine player, to be honest, because this shit just goes so hard.
It's such a shame we lost like a load of the Imperial armor stuff. There's so many cool guard tanks.
I honestly might, but did they release the Horus Heresy Malcadors yet?
In plastic, yes, we've got Malkadors.
I was wondering because I know they announced it. I don't know if they released it yet.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's like a whole thing where they accidentally shipped 2 of them for way too much money or something.
Oh my
like that.
God.
I remember reading about.
But I mean, I love the Macarius. I love the Malkador. I just love the look of them, and you know, I just wish we get a plastic Macarius. I'm being honest. Hot take. I guess for some, I hate the Rogaldorn. I do not like how it looks. I would much rather have had a Macarius.
I fucking love Pete the
Agreed.
Wargamer's Rogaldorn.
I'd have to see
Yeah.
it. I might just hate GW's
I'll
heavy
show
metal
you. Hold
version.
on, I'll get you a picture
Please.
now. You can put this on the screen, Lackey, if you like. Here's a picture of Pete the Wargamer's Rogaldorn. Shit slaps.
Something
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that really
Yeah.
lends itself well to guard tanks is that most guard tanks, right up until they've released the Rogaldorn, looks like you could paint them like proper hobby crafters do, like, you know, diorama people that do like, you know, your Sherman driving over the beaches at D-Day stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All guard tanks who do that. Then you look at the Rogaldorn and you think, yeah, oh, maybe not.
Mm-mm.
That's kind of ugly.
No, maybe a little too round for me, especially in the front. I don't know.
It's just,
But Pete, I like Pete's a lot better, and I think it's the Dorn is better suited for like a casemate design, like Pete's.
it's just so good.
The
Look at it, man.
Rogaldorn is shaped. It's shaped like the kids from Captain Underpants.
I can right for live. I can see that.
I can't really like.
Wow.
I can't really like explain this too hard. If you know, you know.
It
but,
looks like Harold.
It does. It does. I don't want to be mean, but it does. It's just something about it is just. I mean, look at these 2 pictures, right? Like, you can put these side by side on the screen if you want. It's the same shape. It's the same shape.
Oh my
is it
God.
It's
why is
Harold.
I
it?
see it.
Why
I
is it the
see
same
it.
shape? Why does it look like Harold?
They're cylinders.
Yeah, they're just cylinders.
I
It looks
also
so
think-
dumb.
I don't think I like the pointed edge on like the top of the sides. But that does not offend me as much of just how rounded the front is.
Honestly, if you got rid of the extra paneling on the sides and there's just the various extra paneling things to denote extra paneling over this tank, it would look like a Space Marine vehicle, not a guard vehicle.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Rogaldorn, not the Stormlord.
Yeah, because I noticed the front of the top of the treads there, it's exposed kind of like the like the old the heresy tanks, especially.
Yeah, it does me a heckin' sadness because like the idea of just a larger something to bridge the gap between the Lehman Russ and the Baneblade is so cool. I just don't think this one's the one. I didn't realize we'd sidestep into.
I was gonna say instead of depressing talking about the depressing Rogaldorn, let's talk about how great the Stormlord is. I'll just say really quick because I think you want to talk about it some more, Tom. I love the Stormlord. It is S tier in my heart. I love it.
It's just a hail of bullets.
Yeah,
so Edding can
Yeah.
carry dudes.
Mhm.
What more do you want?
40 infantry.
The Stormlord's
40.
one of those vehicles you've seen, you know, for a fact that you'll be rolling more than 20 dice per turn with that thing.
Yeah, and then you do the absolutely enormous penis maneuver, and you bring 3 of them to a game, and you need a bucket of dice, and it's great.
just reminded me of that great old the meme with the orc. Like, no, stop! It's my turn to shoot. Hold on, I got more dice.
Literally, yeah.
It bears mentioning this vehicle has also been instrumental in helping break 10th edition in the rattling combo, where they shoot, move and embark, shoot again because they're embarked.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
incredible.
Thank you, Stormlord, for contributing positively to 10th edition. I don't like hating on 10th edition because I don't actually dislike 10th edition.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
All that much. And yeah, I know you do. We did a whole episode where you basically just dogged on it for 2 hours with tactical tortoise. But I think the problem is there's just so many superior game systems at the moment.
I mean,
That's the problem.
for me, when I heard like 10th was going to be, you know, a little more like simplified. It's good for big dumb idiots like me, but obviously I would not want to push that upon everybody. If they want a more complex game, you know, whatever. Like if people would rather, you know, the rules be closer to 9th and dumbasses like me just play 1-page rules, I'm all for that. I'm fine with going to something simpler for myself, but I don't know. I do not have enough experience with 10th to really have an opinion on it.
I've never played 1-page rules, and I've always wanted to.
It's fun. And I remember it does I go, you go. You just choose. I think you go after every unit It's alternating.
Yeah.
Alternating activations, my beloved.
Yes.
That's the same for Imperialis, isn't it?
It is. I do. Okay. I mean, if any of my friends find this podcast, you need to find it right now. Finish building your shit, man. I want to play a game. I want to play a game so bad. Please.
Okay, so for me, the Stormlord, I mean, it's very simple. Its function is very simple. It's just to shred things, right?
Yes.
Shred things and to carry a shitload of dudes.
Yeah.
It's from a fashion standpoint, I put it really, really high up, but not at the top because like the big fashion, the two that come after are like my big fashion choices if we're going for Baneblade. So it's like it's right below them. I would be inclined to put the Stormlord in low Death Wagon. I'd have to put it above XL, but I wouldn't put it ahead of the Banesword or the Shadowsword.
I would put it. Yeah, I would put it low Death Wagon. And again, it's my love for it. Like of the stubby boys, it's the best looking one, but by a long shot. Though the other ones, they're not that pretty.
It feels like a side grade rather than like staying with the stubbier ones because it's just got two great big fucking
totally different flavors
in the front. Yeah,
I'd agree because it's the only tank that suits the design. The rest, it looks like a fat chin guy, but this one is a wall of ceramite with two huge rotary cannons poking out.
Love that.
Like
honestly, I know it wouldn't even be optimal.
So much better.
I know it wouldn't even be optimal, but if I owned one of these, I would just cover it in as many heavy bolters as possible.
Yeah,
just for the sake of the dice. You know,
turn into a Malkador Defender on crack.
Yeah. Wouldn't even be optimal, but it would be like it just absolutely shred infantry armies. Right. So
like what is it? I can't remember if the turret weapons can be heavy bolters or if they are just like regular bolters, but you can end up with 9 twin-linked bolt weapons on the variant alongside those 2 rotary cannons.
Yeah, it's just a bullet platform. Just bring a bucket of dice and hope for the best.
Bring 3 of them, get on a single objective, and force your opponent to concede via time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. So I feel compelled to put the Stormlord at the arse end of Death Wagon.
I'm in agreement.
That feels right. Yeah.
No objections.
Right. So next up we have get rid of that.
Black Dragon Primaris Intercessor.
Okay, so moving on, we have to do the Stormblade. The Stormblade is my second favorite Baneblade based on fashion, and that is solely because fucking massive plasma gun.
It's so cool. It's
a Baneblade. Oh my god, I gotta be honest, I love seeing the various different kinds of Stormblades, but the Imperialis Stormblade is fucking adorable. It's so adorable.
It's easily magnetized too, by the way. So I technically have 2 of that. Just putting it out there.
When it comes to aesthetics, I think the Stormblade is my favorite, and I wish it was included with the kit. I wish it was a proper like plastic model, because that gun is just so fucking cool looking.
Yeah, they are. It's just cool. It's literally just one of the fixed in place Baneblade variants with a huge plasma gun. Like, what else is there to say? What's the specialization? Oh, I don't know. Anything that suffers from plasma, which is everything.
Yep. I want to get there's some really fun lore tidbits on this. Let me see what I got here. It is basically just a massive Leman Russ executioner, the one that has the big plasma gun on it.
Yeah.
It was created. Oh God! It was created as the result of the feudal nature between Mars and the other Forge worlds. The Forge worlds needed STCs to build shadow swords. Where have we seen this before? But Mars told them to effectively screw themselves. So the Magi of Ryza decided to make their own super heavy tank, but with blackjack, hookers, and a plasma cannon. They would also give the middle finger to Mars by sharing the STC with other Forge worlds. Now, again, like I'm pissed off because in the lore, evidently they are pretty common among Forge worlds, but obviously we cannot acquire one easily in real life, which brings me to another point. If I remember correctly, I remember reading a while ago, Leman Russ executioners, again, same concept, just smaller. I think they're actually really rare in lore. Like their STC was lost a long time ago, and most executioners that are still in use are very, very, very old. And it's just so funny to me that they have an STC ready to make these, like they can churn these out like hotcakes. It's insane to me. The giant, massive, super heavy tank is far more common than the little one.
It's just one of those silly examples.
Mhm.
Oh, and another thing I noticed, cool little, really weird tabletop tidbit is, I guess because it's just an old oddball model that GW doesn't expect most people to have. You can equip it with hunter killer missiles.
Huh.
If I remember right, I think in 9th, most other Baneblade chassis, you could outfit
Yes.
them with hunter killers, but not anymore in 10th.
You could give them and you could give them an additional Stormbolter or additional Heavy Stubber,
Mhm.
and you could give them Hunter Killers.
Yeah. This one, just because it's not a mainline thing, it just has some weird leftover stuff. They're like, fucking, who's going to run it?
I don't think I've ever seen a Stormblade in real life. I've seen like most of the Baneblade
No, I
variants.
never have.
Never a Stormblade.
Gotta go to Warhammer World.
I think they did have one in display there, did they? I have a picture of it, I'm sure.
I mean, if there's a place for it, it's Warhammer World.
Oh, yeah. God, that was, oh my God. I had such a great trip.
Warhammer World is honestly amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say, since we're talking about Warhammer World, Buckman's Bar, very cool. The food's not terrible. It's not amazing. It's good. It's a bit expensive, GW. It's a little bit pricey. I don't need to be... I really don't want to have to pull out a loan to get a cup of coffee.
I don't remember. All I ordered, I think, was like a latte from there when I went. I don't even remember how much it cost.
Dude, a cup of tea was like £2. That bloody shot. That's not okay. That's not on.
£2 for a tea bag and hot water.
Yeah.
Thank you, Games Workshop. We love you. We love you.
I hope the fucking money generated by that cafe is going into just bonuses for the staff at Warhammer World. Because if that money is going into just some big money pit for with like the rest of their fucking earnings from selling plastic crack, I'm going to be so irate.
I wouldn't put it past them.
No, I shouldn't think too hard about this. I'm just going to get annoyed.
Yeah, we just get depressed. We're talking about big tanks, people.
Stormblade, the good one, the nice one, the cool one.
The plasma one. So I'm going to annoy you now, Croc.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this 100... Oh, I'm going to whack my microphone. We'll try that again. For me, this 100% goes ahead of the Shadowsword.
Yeah.
Its fashion is too strong.
Look, I get where you're coming from, but the Stormblade exists because other Forge simply didn't have the swag to get their hands on a Shadowsword, okay?
Yes, and then this is now even rarer than the Shadowsword because that much swag.
Rarer in real life. Apparently they're fucking the walls are they're just coming out of the walls in the lore.
Yeah, need to hurry up and make a plastic one.
There's some Dominus on a random tech world wandering about with like 8 warehouses full of things. Like, oh man, what am I going to do with all these Stormblades?
We're practically giving these Stormblades away. At Big Magos Hells, we're practically giving them away.
You must become some kind of schmuck if you think you get this Stormblade off me.
You're a stupid motherfucker. Okay, I'm done.
I've just seen something absolutely amazing from Reddit, a Reddit post from like a year ago. I'm going to put this in references. We're going off topic again, ladies and gents. Lucky, you got to put this on the screen. Someone is making a Legion Stormblade by combining a Stormblade with a falchion.
Let me see this.
Hell yeah.
Oh my
so overwhelmingly based. That's so cool.
That suits it. That suits it.
It does.
If GW ever needs money, like of the infinite kind, they just need to make epic scale falchions already.
Actually, that elevation's incorrect. It can only rotate 12 degrees vertically.
Yeah, you're fucking not coming on the podcast again.
Well, I'm going to keep it 100. I don't think I can stop you guys putting it above the Shadowsword. So on that fact alone, I have to put it in Soggy Blade.
You're a wetty.
No!
You're a
rancid fucker.
You're a soggy.
I have to protect my beloved. My queen.
I rate it top of Heretic Eraser. If there was a higher one, I would put it higher, simply to counter Croc.
Well, actually, here's the fun part about this, Sarek. You see, Croc's not in charge of the tier list. I am.
Oh, delightfully devilish.
So we're going to forget Croc's opinion for this one. So, Nick, what's your vote?
For me, I wouldn't quite put it Heretic Eraser, but it is highest tier of Death Wagon Deluxe. I just think it's so goddamn cool looking.
What about you, Zarek?
The Heretic Eraser 5000, obviously. Maximum.
Honestly, you've convinced me, Zarek. It has to go there. I'm going to put it behind the normal Baneblade, though.
Okay.
That's fair to me. That's fair to me.
Croc, thank you for, letting us skip your vote.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Listen, one day you'll run the recording side and you'll be in charge of the tier list. And when that day comes, you can throw my opinion in the bin too, sir. But not
And
today.
When that day comes, it will come because that day has come.
His own podcast with blackjack and hookers.
His own podcast, which literally just built upon slandering me. Right. So the final Baneblade we have to go over is it is the Stormhammer. The Stormhammer is and always has been the number one fashion choice for the Baneblade. To me, like if I ever see one of these like anywhere, I'm stopping for about half an hour. I'm stopping for 30 minutes to take it in. It is such an amazing, amazing tank. It's the only Baneblade that looks like a mobile fortress while still looking like it's got more mobility and function than like 2/3 of the other Baneblades. It's amazing, and I love it. I love all the extra fucking rivets. I love how it's more than the other Baneblades. It's super World War I inspired. It looks like a World War II US military carrier on the ocean, a boat, a warship, and a tank at the same, and a British World War I tank at the same time.
Well, that's funny, Tom.
I love it.
Because in universe, it's been likened to destroyers of the Imperial Navy.
That makes me that just makes me happy on an ungodly level.
It
I don't
looks
care
like a
that it's
battleship.
I don't care that it's got lasers, multi-lasers sticking out the side of it and out the front and everywhere else. I just adore it so much. It's like a cake. It's laid like a fucking cake. And I love it.
So I'm going to keep this nice and easy. First order of business. This is the dedicated Solar Auxilia Bane variant. This is the one they use, which automatically makes it really cool. Number 2, this is a Malkador with a Baneblade on top. That's it. Malkadors are sick. I love Malkadors so much. They are so cool. So it wins on points on that. And number 3, this thing still sees service in the 41st millennium. Like, no competition. Heretic Eraser 5000. We're done.
Yeah.
Good tier list, guys. Good recording.
Good tier list, guys. I know. I love it. I think it's so iconic. It's so cool. I feel like if all of the Baneblades came out and were revealed at the same time and there wasn't like one of them that was like, hey, here's the generic one, here's the if they all came out at the same time and the community was left to decide which one is the peak, we wouldn't be saying the Baneblade variants, we'd be saying the Stormhammer variants. I'm sure of it, And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And this is just an expression of how much I like this variant. It's so cool. It's so fucking cool.
It's just a boat. Sorry, I was just gonna say, just looking at it's damn near like it's a kitchen sink, and I love it. It is. This is what, like, if you're telling people what they think after telling them how over the top the 40K universe would look like, is what they think like a super heavy tank would look like. This is it.
Yeah.
Guns.
So something else is great about it. If you've ever owned a Baneblade and built one, and you've been sat there thinking, well, there's 3 slots for sponsored weapons. Why can't I put 3? You can for this one. It has the 3. It has all 3. It's the chosen one. Listen, Al-Qaib.
It really is.
Yeah, absolutely my favorite. And much like the original Baneblade, it's an all-purpose tank. It's here for everything, right? It's not got any specialization. It just does everything, and it does everything well. It's just
it does have a specialization, and that is exploration of hostile planets.
Exploration, baby. Woo!
Exploration of hostile planets. Yeah,
I would feel very safe in it.
Not only that, but it has a really sick epic scale model. So, hey, what do you want from the tank?
Sorry,
it's everything.
I'm looking at the retro epic scale one.
Yeah,
that
one's really cute.
Oh my god! I put this in references. It is so adorable. It's so dinky.
It's a little buddy.
It's just a little fella. Oh, the old epic scale one. He's just a little fella.
My best friend. He's my pal. My homeboy. He's my sweet cheese.
My sweet cheese. My good time boy.
Good time
However,
boy.
I have one dissenting opinion.
No, you don't.
Well, keep it yourself.
That's the end of the podcast, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Go on, give us your dissenting opinion. I'll decide whether or not I'm going to ask Lackey to remove it.
It is incredible. I love this thing, but I think it's not quite a Baneblade anymore. It's too much more.
I think you're wrong.
Wait, so you're saying... I don't know. I know what you're saying. This isn't a dissenting opinion. This is like how there's the Saiyans, but then there was when Goku went Super Saiyan. That's what you're saying, right? That's what this is, right? That's where you're at. I get it. I'm buying it.
It's more akin to in JoJo, there was Hamon, and then they had the stands, and this is the stand, and the Baneblades were Hamon.
Look, I get where you're coming from, but considering it's competition, this is just a Baneblade with some like different weapon options. Like, considering there's a gun that shoots psychic wizard death beams, one that shoots the fragments of exploded planets, one that can shoot a gun that blows up the ground and causes earthquakes, one that has 2 huge rotary cannons, one that shoots just magma. Like,
Well, as you said earlier, Croc, it's more like a Malkador with a Baneblade on top. And that's exactly what I see when I look at it.
No, absolutely.
I specifically said a Baneblade with a Malkador on top. That's right. That's where we're going with this one.
Listen, we can all agree it's sick as fuck. The only question, and I know where I stand on this fence, the only question is it ahead of or behind the classic Baneblade? Now, before you say anything, I'm going to be the first one to say it. For me, it is ahead of the Baneblade. For me, it is 100% ahead of the Baneblade. It's not an easy choice, but it's a choice.
Dare I say yes. If you were to ask a kid what they would name that thing, they would call it the Heretic Eraser 5000.
Yeah,
it is a name truly befitting it. It goes above the Baneblade for me.
What about you two?
Look, I have a hard time putting it higher than the Baneblade on the Baneblade tier list because it isn't a Baneblade anymore. It's something else. It belongs in Heretic Eraser. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it belongs above Baneblade because it's just not anymore.
Okay, what about you, Croc?
Look, going back to the Dragon Ball analogy, because that's how scientific we're getting. The initial intention with Gohan was that he would surpass Goku as the main character of the anime.
Sure.
This is the Gohan that surpassed Goku, because it's just the cooler version of the Baneblade. That being said, there's no follow-up, put it above Baneblade.
I was worried you were about to say something like, that being said, then the Majin Buu arc happened and Gohan became a bitch again.
The unfortunate thing is we don't have a plastic model, so that is the Majin Buu arc for this.
That's true. I don't think we even have the resin one anymore.
Probably not.
I don't think so, no. I think it's gone. Stolen.
GW, you have removed... Oh no, it's still there. It's just out of stock.
Oh,
which means
thank God.
It might still be gone, to be fair.
It may be gone.
To be fair, it does have the epic scale version, which also looks sick.
The epic scale one is kind of adorable. I would say that if we were going through these various Baneblades and we were just voting on the ones that had epic scale variants, and we were voting on the epic scale variants, I'd say the Stormblade is right at the top. I'd love the epic scale Stormblade. It's just, if I was going to do an Astra Militarum army, an Solar Auxilia army for Imperialis, I would just be stacking Stormblades.
I can't blame you. They're
just adorable, the little blue glow. It's a tiny blue, a little bit of blue.
They're so good. The extra great thing about them is because of how they're shaped, they're really easy to transport because you can just stack them on top of each other.
God.
You can play Tetris with the tanks.
What a wonderful tier list. Terribly sorry for the Banestorm featured in like one sentence in The End and the Death. But GW just woke up and went, fuck you, you know? I stand by the Banehammer being at the bottom. That thing's ugly as shit. Yeah. It looks incomplete. It's just wrong. You know, it's just wrong. It's got some cool lore. No, it doesn't. That's a lie. It's, you know, Doomhammer, Hellhammer, and Stormsword being where they are. Yep. I can just about say those are all pretty fucking good Baneblades. Absolutely. The stuff we got for Deathwagon Deluxe is absolutely fine. You know, I'm super happy with all of those. Though they all look great. They all have great lore. They're all just really cool. And the 3 we've put at the very top are just chef's fucking kiss.
Oh, yes.
Chef's fucking kiss. And Games Workshop, if any one of you is listening in on this and you value our opinions, because we know you don't, I'm just going to pretend you do for a moment. Please bring the plastic ones of these. I know you've got the molds and the sculpts, whatever, somewhere. Make plastic Stormhammers. Make plastic Stormblades. For the love of God, for the Stormblade, all you need to do is release a fucking upgrade kit, because it'll slot in the same way the other guns do.
The problem is GW is scared of having too much money. That's why they'll never make them.
GW's... Well, Zarek, wasn't it you who told me a little while ago that GW's long-term plan is to be a company that is, quote, immortal?
Basically, yeah. They want to exist forever, and they want total global domination.
Yeah. So, if it...
I think that's reasonable aspirations for anyone, you know?
Total global domination. Well, Games Workshop, my opinion is if you want to take one extra step towards total global domination, you will reintroduce plastic Stormhammers and Stormblades. You will throw the Banehammer in the bin, and you will make a plastic Volkite Banestorm. So we can redo this list and put that one at the top.
To dominate the world, you need more money.
Yes.
Let us give it
And
to
you
you.
get infinite money if you made the Stormhammer plastic. Infinite money. Woo.
Right. So I believe that is us done. I think that's the lot. I think that's everything.
Wow.
So, oh God, Croc's got things to say. That's unfortunate.
There is one which is debatably canon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
okay. Oh God.
Mhm.
Yep. What's it called again?
The
Stormsabre.
Stormsabre.
This one's new to me.
Exactly.
Let me
I
get
also
a pic.
only found out about it actually being canon today. Or technically canon, maybe.
That's interesting because I've been familiar with its debatable canonicity for a few months longer.
Oh, wow.
So,
So here is an image in podcast references. We'll just put on the screen now. This is the Stormsabre. Now, anyone who is familiar with this, is about a bunch of you are familiar with this, and you've just gone, oh, I know what that is. So to those of you who don't know what this was a kit bash of an entirely custom Baneblade created by Pete the Wargamer. I think it was a year or two ago now, and it got picked up by Games Workshop. They made a whole community article on it and ostensibly canonized it. It is a real in-lore thing. It's basically, I mean, the thing is, the actual lore for it in terms of like text is hyper minimal because again, it's a community kit bash that got canonized. But it's a real thing. Let me put this other picture as well. Actually, this picture might be better. This one's really cool. But yeah, it's a mobile fortress made out of a combination of a Baneblade and one of the 2020 or 2021 community terrain sets.
You know what I first thing I noticed, the barrel, especially on this thing. That is what I think the Shadowsword barrel should look like. That like the little little rib parts on the side. Like for me, like if I were building a Shadowsword, and I would fill that in with like pulsating looking red energy to denote that it's just a giant las cannon. That's what that should look like to me. So good job, Pete.
Yeah, so this was conceived, or sorry, this was canonized as lore on the 19th of April, 2022. There's not really much to go on to work out like what it is in terms of any like measurements or anything, how powerful it is. But this would be a good time to mention that someone in this call made a data sheet for it.
and Pete liked it.
And Pete liked it. The
Yes,
highest of praise.
This
It is, yeah.
ancient and terrible machine. That's right. I remembered.
You did remember. Yeah.
So I think here's the fun part for me. If I were going to put this in the tier list, it is going in Heretic Eraser 9000 immediately, going by fashion. Like the Baneblade, and the Baneblade variants have been known for years for just basically being these hulking masses of metal, these metal bricks that are the size of not even small buildings, but actual buildings. With cannons atop them, and this is just the next evolution of that. It is straight up a building. It is straight up a giant hunk of metal with tank treads and a cannon even bigger than the volcano cannon of the Shadowsword. So this is easy Heretic Eraser 9000 for me.
I don't know if I can agree with that one.
Yeah, well, we had established a minute ago that your opinion is optional.
Oh, no.
I think it sits easily above the Shadowsword because it doubled down on the aesthetics of the Shadowsword while giving it more heft and filling it, like making it clearly its own thing. It doesn't have sponsons. It is mobile ordnance, basically.
Yeah, in every situation where you can see a Shadowsword parking up at the rearmost level of a battlefield and pulling the trigger, you can see this doing the exact same thing, but just looking and feeling better in every way. I suppose you could like worst case scenario is you look at this and you go, this is just the Big Daddy Shadowsword. I
could be inclined to agree, but to me, this tank does look a little bit like a Shadowsword that drove into a building, got stuck, and took the building with it.
I understand what you mean. However, counter argument, that is all a positive thing. There is nothing wrong with any of that.
I will say, upon first seeing it, I thought it was. I don't remember the name of it's some Imperial artillery vehicle where the gun is facing backwards. And so basically you have to like drive it in reverse to get it to position it where you want it to aim and fire. I don't remember.
In Warhammer or real life?
No, Warhammer. I don't remember what the name of the vehicle was, but I'm sure it's some Legends something or Imperial Armor. I don't remember what it is. But anyway, it's just it looked like it was backwards. That being said, I still like the model. For me, as for ranking it, I would put it in Death Wagon in front of the Shadowsword, if only because I like the barrel of this thing better. But also, it looks like it looks like a modern day like artillery, self-propelled artillery, where it's like big chunky in the front, but the gun is kind of in the back and aims upward to be used for artillery. That's I like that aesthetic a lot. It looks like mobile artillery to me.
Yeah. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, let us draw this episode to a close. Thank you for making it to the end of this rather silly Astartes Anonymous podcast. If you're enjoying our content or would just like to help out, please consider just taking a quick, brief look at our Patreon, link down below. And of course, hitting that subscribe button. And if you want the opportunity to interact with myself or any of the other members of the team, please consider joining our Discord. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for some patron questions. We have patron questions of the patron and question variety.
Questionably patrons? Sure, why not?
So, the first one is from Theodosia, and they ask, if you could do an actual play for any tabletop RPG with the podcast crew, what would it be and why? Well, Theodosia, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to plug something. So, as they saw coming, Croc here, Zarek here, myself, and Aaron, all four of us are part of a tabletop campaign called Deathwatch the Puritanicals. It is a series that is being showed off on YouTube, a dramatized roleplay shown off on YouTube on a channel called Twist of Fate that we will link down below. I love it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I play a Space Marine. We all play Space Marines. I play a Space Marine from my homebrew called Salah Al-Heed. He is a very religious swordsman. He has nice facial hair and very beautiful eyes.
He does.
He's a pretty boy.
And he's just the best, you know. He's the best. Croc plays a belligerent piece of shit. He freely admits he does because he has so much fun playing a belligerent piece of shit.
He's beautiful. I love him.
Actually, Croc, do you want to tell Theodosia about Brother Barbus?
Oh, what is that to say about Brother Barbus? Think of it this way. He's your average pro-imperial religious whack job who's about as dense as a brick wall, can shoot better than anyone else in the squad, and is like a pretty big hypocrite. But he's great. I love him so much.
He's a good shot. I'll give him that.
I think as of right now, he has blown the face off a Kroot Trail Shaper.
I'll tell you what, I'll put it in the podcast references, and we can put this one final image on the screen. Here is an image, some art that I had done a little while ago of the squad. By the time this podcast goes live, it'll be safe for this image to be out in the world.
Whoa.
It's just so good.
So
It's so cool, guys. You should go and check that out in the description below.
So Brother Barbus is the asshole with the heavy bolter on the far right.
Yes, he looks like one. It looks like he would be named Brother Barbus. But maybe
No, not. And then Brother August, Zarek's character, is this fucking huge fella in the front with the shield and the axe. And Brother Salah, my character, is the dude at the very back with the big sword. And yeah, Aaron's idiot is the librarian on the far left. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I really recommend it. You know, it's a pretty complex system to get into, but we've got Vivaris, the lovely individual who runs Twist of Fate and the Deathwatch campaign. She's a great DM. She's worked really, really hard to make the series something that's really enjoyable, both for us as players and for an audience to sort of, step in and sit down and enjoy as and when. And yeah, if you get the opportunity to play a Deathwatch campaign, I recommend giving it a go. It's a lot of fun. There's more nuance. This is the thing, when you read Space Marine books, one of the things that you learn, that you unlearn, one of the first things you learn when you get to 40k is that Space Marines are these rigid, these rigid, indoctrinated individuals, yada yada. And then you start reading Space Marine books and realize that Space Marines often have an awful lot of capacity for humanity and nuance between them. And then you play a campaign like this and you realize, yeah, that nuance is very real. And, at no point do I feel like any of the characters or any of the people I'm playing with have sort of stepped outside of the realm of plausibility. And VAR's also been a very good sort of influence in keeping us on track and making sure that we're all being true to our characters, true to our chapters, true to the lore. And it all feels very natural. It's fun. It's great. So yeah, give that a go. Go watch that. Link down below if you want to watch any War Crimes. Brother Barbas, Croc's character, complete piece of shit.
But don't forget, when the episodes go live, you got to vote for me as the best character. He'll die otherwise.
I hope he dies, because VAR's forbidden you from playing a religious character next time you do something. And you're just going to suffer for that. But
I need it as a springboard, but now I know the character.
Oh, okay. Do you want to talk about Brother August a little bit, Zarek?
Yeah, sure. I can talk about this little weirdo. He looks like a person, and that's not normal. And the squad's not really got their heads around that one yet entirely. And a certain other member of the squad has a particular issue with it, and we're going to see how that gets resolved. He is our squad's apothecary. However, he is also prone to putting himself in the line of fire. He seems he would rather die himself than let someone else die in his squad, which is not ideal when he's the one carrying the Narthesium. And he also has a bit of a humanitarian streak. Again, which sets him apart, but there is something strange about him. And I'm looking forward to making him stranger.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a complex. Something about his backstory. Oh, what is it? What is Aaron's character you ask? He's a complete moron. Right, so let's move on to our second Patreon question that we can answer really quickly. Rion asks, what is the perfect sandwich for each of you? So I'm sorry you've been left out of that Patreon question, Nick. So would you like to open up with this one? What is your perfect sandwich?
I can't say I have a perfect sandwich because I love sandwiches of all kinds. I cannot say I have a favorite. But one I have fallen in love with recently is the beef on weck. It is made with roast beef on a kummel weck roll, and it is topped with kosher salt and caraway seeds. The meat on the sandwich is usually rare and thin cut, and the top bun gets dipped in au jus, and you add a spread of horseradish to it. And pickles are optional, but it is a great sandwich. And I was very lucky to find a place that makes them pretty close to the one I had in Buffalo, New York last year. And it's a place like 20 minutes from me in Grapevine, Texas. It's great.
Utterly delectable.
It is very good.
Delectable. I think for me, it's a bit difficult to answer this question because I answered this question on the podcast before because someone actually asked it before, and I can't remember what my answer was then, and I can't think what my answer would be now. So all I can say, Rion, is what I'm craving at the moment. And right now, I would beat Croc to death with my bare hands for a smoked salmon and cream cheese bagel.
Which is a classic. That's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of pepper in there, maybe a little bit of lemon juice as well, some prawn cocktail crisps on the side, perhaps even a Dr. Pepper to go with it, Yeah, that's me.
In that same vein, I'm really feeling a fish finger butty. Oh my god. Plenty of butter, a bit of ketchup, at least 4 fish fingers. I'm salivating. I'm so hungry. I need to go have dinner.
So, do Americans eat those like fish finger sandwiches? Is that a thing over in the States, Nick? Or do you guys
fish finger like fish sticks?
Yeah.
Like the breaded ones.
Yeah, I can't say. Yeah, this is so violently English. Oh my god.
Yeah. I thought it would be violently English.
Trust me. We're not there yet.
I wanted to, honestly, Tom, I wanted to interrupt you earlier. Like, I can't think of my favorite, we're talking about your favorite sandwich. And I want to interrupt and say, well, flavor is illegal over there in England, so he needs some time to think about it.
Would you like me to present another baked beans recipe?
Oh, God.
No.
Before you do that, I have to get one thing out there. The factually best sandwich you can get all of Britain is a fried egg sandwich. Oh no, that's a northern thing, isn't it? You guys are weird. You fucking weirdos.
Well,
Look, I'm Scottish. I have to go for
When
fish.
you say fried egg, you mean like plus? It's not just a bread with a fucking fried egg in the middle. There's
No,
other
you
stuff
like
in
put
there
some
too,
ketchup
right?
on it.
oh, Christ!
Oh, fuck off, Croc.
Ketchup?
You know, the words came out my mouth, and I realized that's a uniquely Northern England thing.
My whole body is twitching from how violently I want to throttle you right now.
Dude, you want to get the yolk like on the bread. You want it to be open. You want to cut it open with a knife and fork.
No, but like it's a sandwich. So it's 2 bits of bread with a fried egg and a little bit of, like ketchup or whatever sauce you prefer, and you squish it, and the yolk and the sauce mix in the bread.
I mean, I'll tell you what I've been. What I've been making lately in the similar regard is I've been making English muffins with, I put a fried egg on it, on top of like a little bit of a cold cut meat of your choice, and I make a little not hollandaise with I mix sriracha and mayonnaise together, and I just spread it around on top. It's really yummy.
Yeah, I can
That does sound really nice. My girlfriend's really fond of hollandaise sauce stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. See, when you said like I'm sorry, Kirk. When you said like a fried egg sandwich, I was assuming there's no like, oh, maybe there'll be some avocado in there, some
Right.
fried tomato, maybe some bacon, maybe some. I don't know. Maybe you're just like, oh, it's actually just a BLT, but there's a fried egg in it as well. Like that would have been sick,
Yeah.
but no, just fried egg and ketchup.
Brother, that's a struggle meal. Is everything okay at home?
Yeah, so,
Did you need a few
sometimes
bucks?
it's easy to forget that I am from the north of England. This is just northern food. I would wholeheartedly devour one of those right now. So
Well,
good.
I mean, it's you probably can go and do it because that's a meal that costs like 20 pence to make.
So good.
Unless you live in America. Sorry, guys.
Zarek, I forgot. Did you give us your ideal sandwich?
Yeah,
the
fish
fucking
finger
good
butty.
Fish finger. Okay,
Fish
gotcha.
finger,
Fish finger butty because my uncle's uncle invented the fish finger. I shit
Oh, that's
you
really
not.
cool.
Fucking Zarek deep lore. Does that mean we get to blame your uncle's uncle for any children that have choked to death on fish fingers?
Yes, do it, please.
You should pay reparations for that, Zarek. That's what I'm saying.
No.
What I want,
No, I'm not blood related. It's okay.
what I wanted to say, Tom, was if you guys ever bring if y'all ever bring the show to America, especially my neck of the woods in Northeast Texas, I will take you to that sandwich shop that I mentioned. They have a ridiculous menu full of amazing sandwiches. I've been there like 3 times already, and right across the street is the second largest Warhammer shop in the world in Grapevine, Texas. Right across the street.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's just Warhammer Warhammer Grapevine. It's not as awesome as it sounds because like nothing's gonna beat Nottingham.
Oh, I know about this
yeah,
place.
It's the one that I always send the stupid soy jack pointing selfie every time I go there. I send it to you guys.
Yeah, they've got their own little
They got the cafe.
Space Marines out the front.
Yeah,
don't they?
they got the cafe back there too, and it's pretty good stuff there. And Grapevine's just a really cool town. So if you find yourself there, I will gladly show you around town.
I mean, going to Warhammer World Tokyo, which is literally just literally just your bog standard 40k shop, but it's in Tokyo and it sells Forge World stuff as well.
Yeah.
Is also on the agenda. So I guess
The
Grapevine has to be as
the
well.
one Grapevine does have some Forge World stuff too.
Huh.
It's interesting. Like I said, if I remember correctly, it is the second largest shop in the world, only behind the Nottingham location.
The more you
And
know.
I live like 20 minutes from it.
The Grapevine one has a wall of weapons. That's cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is very cool. Yeah, I'm just Googling pictures and stuff. Right, let us draw the episode to a close there. So, thank you all very, very much for watching. As per the outro, like and subscribe, and go check out Nick's channel. Nick, do you have anything you want to, you'd like to front right now before we close this up?
Yes, I'd love to plug myself. Hi, my name is Nick Gikas. I am a voice actor. You can find me on YouTube at Nick Gikas VO. That's also my website, nickgikasvo.com. All my ads on my Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, which I hardly touch, all of those socials, just use at Nick Gikas VO. I am the creator of My Big Golden Buddy. It is a Warhammer quote unquote animated series. I just take PNGs of the models and just slide them around. I've been doing that for about a year now. It's a fun little series. If you miss TTS, this is not me gloating. This is what people have told me. People have said like TTS lives. This is TTS reborn. All that stuff. Like that's what people in the comments tell me. So if you like TTS, come check it out. I'm sorry it takes such a long to release episode. long time to release episodes because it's been about 10 months since I released episode 5, but I am happy to announce that episode 6 is out right now if you go to my channel. Perfect timing for if you've been listening this far in the episode, which you all should have, whether you're fans of me or not. Check out my Big Golden Buddy on YouTube. And Tom, thank you so much for having me. And if you guys need voice actors for any reason, please reach out to me. I am poor.
Absolutely.
All those sandwiches and Warhammer models don't bathe themselves.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on, Nick, and we're looking forward to having you on again very soon. Thank you, Zarek, Croc. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
This episode is going to practice in anything. Buy Epic Scale Shadowsword. Buy Epic Scale Shadowsword. Buy Epic Scale Shadowsword.
Just play Imperialis. Like, GW are going to bin off Imperialis in a year or two because their launch was dog shit. Stop them from doing that. Play Imperialis. Buy Imperialis models. Let them know that you want Imperialis. Even if you don't, just do it anyway.